Welcome, my fellow thrill seekers, to another spine-tingling episode of Dark Tides. Today, I've got a story that's sure to give you goosebumps and make you want to sleep with the lights on. Picture this, a young woman that moves into a charming one-bedroom apartment in Melbourne, Australia. Little did she know, this place had a dark secret lurking in the shadows, and it wasn't just the creepy crawlies that call Australia home. But before we dive into the story, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more terrifying stories like this one. Trust me, you won't want to miss out on the scares. Now, back to the story. It all started when she came home from work and discovered something strange in the bathroom. What she found would make even the bravest of souls tremble with fear. So sit back, relax, and prepare yourself for a roller coaster of emotions as I tell her bone-chilling experience. And remember, if you hear any strange noises in the middle of the night, don't say I didn't warn you. This story is about a one-bedroom apartment in Melbourne, Australia. This apartment block had been built in the 1930s. It was my first time living on my own. Little did I know, something terrifying was about to happen. It all started when I came home from work one day and went into the bathroom. I saw something strange. A wooden board, which had covered a hole in the ceiling that led to a small attic space, lay fractured into pieces on the ground. The board was an inch thick, and it would have taken Bruce Lee to break it. I thought the landlord had sent someone to work on the attic, but little did I know, something much more sinister was going on. I emailed pictures to the landlord, asking if anyone had been there. Her reply read, "Please call me as soon as you're able to." I called, and she explained that her last two tenants had said the same thing happened. She promised to replace the board, and she did. But a month later, something happened that would change my life forever. I woke up one night around 4 a.m. My body was covered in goosebumps. It felt like someone was rubbing their hands on me. Everything was silent, but then I heard a dragging sound coming from above my bed. It was as if someone was pulling a sack of potatoes. I froze, convinced someone was up there. There is no way an animal could make that sound. After 5 minutes, I worked up the courage to turn on the light, armed myself with a cricket bat, and walked to the bathroom. That's when I saw that the new board covering the hole was broken in two. I felt sick. The dragging sound had stopped, but I heard something else, whispering. The sound was clear and coming from the attic. It sounded like children's voices, and I could hear one sentence repeated over and over. "It's your turn. It's your turn." I switched on every light in the apartment to make things feel normal. It was 5 a.m. and dark outside. I watched TV to try to unwind. Then a fuse blew. My pet budgie, Dexter, whom I kept in the kitchen, usually never made a sound at night, but he started squawking like he was being strangled. I'd never heard him make those sorts of noises. He was screaming. I grabbed my car keys, ran out, sat in my car, and waited there until the sun came up. When I saw people walking their dogs, this comforted me enough to go back in. The front door was open, but I figured I might have forgotten to close it when I ran out. I went to the kitchen to check on Dexter, but he wasn't in his cage. I felt sick again. All my windows were closed, so I looked everywhere inside. When I walked to the bathroom, I heard splashing. Dexter was half drowned in the toilet. I took him out, washed him and dried him. I was so confused. At 8 a.m., I called the landlord and gave her a watered-down version of the night. "Oh, wow, you heard the whispering too," she said. After that terrifying experience, I decided to stay in the apartment for another 18 months. I heard the whispering on a few occasions, and twice the board covering the hole in the ceiling moved. Although I live elsewhere now, the landlord recently called. She said that her new tenants had begged to speak with me about some of the stuff that's been going on there. Forget it, it's their problem now. After that terrifying experience, I couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right about that apartment. I started doing some research about the building's history and discovered that it had been constructed on an old cemetery. The cemetery had been relocated, but the bodies buried there had been disturbed and improperly handled, leading to rumors of hauntings in the area. As time went on, The strange occurrences in the apartment increased. I would hear footsteps in the hallway when I was the only one there, and sometimes I would wake up to find my furniture rearranged. Once, I even found a message written on my bathroom mirror in what looked like blood, though I couldn't be sure. I started feeling like I was constantly being watched, and I couldn't escape the feeling of dread that hung over me whenever I was at home. I tried to ignore it, but it was like the more I tried to push it away, the stronger it became. One night, I woke up to find that my bed was shaking violently. I tried to get up, but I couldn't move. I was completely paralyzed, and it felt like something was holding me down. I could hear whispers in my ear, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. All I knew was that they were malevolent. Eventually, the shaking stopped, and I was able to move again. I got up and turned on all the lights, but I couldn't shake the feeling of terror that had taken hold of me. It felt like something had invaded my mind, and I couldn't escape it. I knew that I had to get out of there. I packed up my things and moved out the next day. But even though I was out of the apartment, the fear followed me. I couldn't sleep at night, and I started seeing things out of the corner of my eye. I felt like I was losing my mind. I sought out a medium who specialized in clearing haunted spaces. She told me that the apartment was indeed haunted by restless spirits who were angry about being disturbed during the construction of the building. She performed a cleansing ritual, and I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Now, years later, I still think about that apartment and the horrors that I experienced there. I wonder if the new tenants are experiencing the same things, or if the spirits have finally found peace. But I know one thing for sure. I will never forget the terror that I felt in that haunted apartment. Well, that's it for today's spooky tale, my fellow thrill seekers. I hope you enjoyed this bone-chilling story and got a good scare out of it. But before you go, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more hair-raising stories like this one. And who knows, maybe one day you'll have a creepy experience of your own to share with us. Remember, the world is full of mysteries and secrets, and sometimes they can be downright terrifying. But with the help of our community, we can face them head-on and share our experiences with each other. So, until next time, stay safe and keep your eyes peeled for the things that go bump in the night. Who knows what kind of chilling story we'll uncover next?